Good morning. It's still technically morning, and welcome to day 3 of the reading rush. I woke up at like 4:30 this morning because my husband had to get up really early for work, and he left around, I don't know, like 5 or something. And I took care of all the animals, and I even started reading Animal Farm and then fell asleep after chapter 1. Not because it's boring, just because it was just too early. So I fell asleep and woke back up around 9:45, and then decided to listen to Practical Magic and just lay in bed and try to wake up completely. I don't know if you ever have that issue where you're like, yes, I'm awake. Am I really awake? No, I'm not really awake. And then of course I fell back to sleep. However, I wanted to update you on my reading because I woke up again and continued to listen to Practical Magic, and it is so much more interesting now. We're getting to the part of the story where the cop shows up, and I didn't think it would take this long for his characters to show up, so I just assumed that they made him up in the movie and he wasn't actually in the book. But now that it's starting to become like this, I don't know, it's not like a murder mystery because we already know what happened and what's going on, because we've been following the other characters this whole way, but there's more suspense now. However, I will warn you, getting through that third section of the book is very triggering. So if you've ever been in a really abusive relationship, if you've ever had to deal with unwanted attention, I'm watching my words here because I know how YouTube is, but it's very triggering, that third section of the book, and this might be a book that's not for you. So I would definitely look up some trigger warnings for this book, because when it got to that part where it was describing Jillian's past relationship in more detail, that was not pleasant. It was manageable for me, but it wasn't pleasant. And then there's a later scene with Kylie, the youngest daughter, who I think is they describe her 13th birthday, and then they don't really talk about her age after that. So I can't imagine her being more than 14 when this happens. Maybe she's older and time has passed and they're not talking about it like I think they are, or I think they should, or maybe I missed the detail where it's another year has passed or something like that. But so she's a young teenager and ends up running away from someone who is trying to attack her. And it's very triggering. I was I don't want to listen to this if something bad's going to happen. So I know I didn't want to do spoiler warnings, but this I think is worth saying. So if you really don't want to hear it, you can skip a couple seconds ahead. But spoiler warning, she gets away, and she's fine physically, but emotionally she's extremely shooken. So yeah, that was rough to listen to because you don't know what's going to happen. That's never addressed in the book. The kids are so much younger, and in elementary school, where Antonia is at least 16 and Kylie is at least 13, maybe older, in this portion of the book, in the third section of the book. So I got through that. And then when you get to the fourth section, the final section of the book, that's when the cop shows up. And if you've seen the movie, you know who I'm talking about. And he does get Sally's letter, just like he does in the movie. So I was getting all excited because I love that storyline in the movie. And it's making everything a little more interesting. Now, I know one of the things I want to do at some point is look up how old this book is, because the way it's being read to me sounds very dated, like it was written in the 90s, which would make sense because the movie came out in 98. So it feels like early 90s writing. And it could also be 80s. I'm not really sure. So if that kind of writing bothers you, it's that dated writing style bothers you, this might not be the book for you. But it kind of reminds me of the flow of some of those old like mystery novels that were written in the 80s and 90s, even though it's not a mystery story. It's just like the way they speak, or the way I guess the narrator is delivering the words reminds me of that. But yeah, the book is getting better now. It's more interesting now that you're getting into this suspenseful part of the book. Yeah. So I need to fully wake up because I'm still like in zombie mode right now. I just got a reminder that I have a meeting at 10:30 and it's 10:14. So I have a digital meeting that I had forgotten that I had. So I need to get ready for that. So this needs to be more awake by then. All right, I'll check in with you guys later. All right, so the Instagram challenge for today is to take a photograph of your current read with your pet. Now, I can't use Practical Magic because I only have a digital copy of it on my phone as an audiobook. I don't want to use Super Mutant Magic Academy because I didn't read it at all today. It's been too hot, and even though I got up early, I didn't go outside to read it. However, I have been reading Animal Farm. I'm on chapter 2. Obviously, that's not really far, but I am liking it. Let's see. I'm on page 18, and I fell asleep during the first chapter, but I already told you about that, about how it was just really early in the morning. Well, I started reading it again later, and I like it so far. I'm going to go back to reading it after I complete a couple of challenges. So I'm going to try to take a picture of this with Oliver. Now, the reason I'm picking him over the cats is A, he knows a couple commands, and B, he's adorable. Not that the cats aren't, but he's going to work with the camera probably a little bit better than they are, since he knows, like, sit and lay down and stay and all of those things. And then I can always use his favorite object, his bone, to get his attention, so he will look at the camera for me. He's looking at me right now because I'm holding it. Oliver. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. And then I might try to take a picture of one of the cats with a book. Maybe. We'll see. Oliver, can you hold my book for me? Can you pose for Instagram? Hello, Storm. Can I take a picture of you with this book? All right, so I completed the Instagram challenge. I was able to get a picture of Oliver with my book. I tried to take a picture of Storm with my book. That one's a little iffy. I went with Oliver's picture. I'm going to show both of them over here, and just for good measure, I'm going to show you some pictures of my animals, because I realized when I was talking about them on day one, I could have thrown up pictures so you like knew what I was talking about, because like Oliver is very photogenic. Like I have a really nice picture of him where he looks like a dog model. He's hearing me say his name, so he's like sitting right in front of me. But I'll put that up there. And then Katniss and Storm can be very photogenic if you catch them in the right light and they're in the right position, but it's not something that's gonna happen every single day. So I will put a picture of them up here so you can see what they look like, especially since I don't think I've put Katniss on camera yet. And she's like the most interesting looking cat. Like I've never seen a cat that looks like her, so I'll put her up on the screen. So the video challenge that I didn't do yesterday was dress to match your book. Okay, so I am reading Animal Farm, and the copy I have is the ugly white cover with the pink pig on it, and I am wearing a white v-neck with a pink tank top, so I matched the cover of my book. So I will also put that picture up here as proof. So there, another check mark. I was going to do that yesterday, and then it didn't happen. So yeah, now that I did all of those challenges and all of that stuff is taken care of, I'm going to try to get back to reading and see if I can get farther than page 18 on Animal Farm. All right, see you in a little bit. All right, guys, so this is my last check-in. I ended up getting to page 50 of Animal Farm, which is in the middle of chapter 5. That's not quite halfway, but it's close. I believe there's 10 chapters and about 140 some pages. So I'm getting there. I did make some good progress. So I'm proud of myself on that. I also finished Practical Magic, but then nodded off towards the end of the book. So I need to re-listen to like the last 20 minutes of the story to make sure I actually understand how the book wrapped up. I was listening to it with my headphones and my husband's like, "You're sleeping." And I was like, "No, I'm listening to a book." He's like, "Yeah, you're sleeping." And I realized that I wasn't actually retaining any of the information that I was listening to. Like my comprehension level was like out. So I could hear the noise of the book, but I couldn't tell you how it ended yet. So I'll have to re-listen to that tomorrow. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put my like number of pages right here because my brain is not going to be able to do the math right now. And that's about it for today. All right. See you tomorrow.